everybody? Welcome to Bad Big Games, where we're breaking down all of E3. Today, we're going to be talking about whether or not Bethesda should talk about Fallout 76 at their E3 press conference. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, Future Joe, start the show. So let's talk about Bethesda's conference in 2019, because it's crazy to me. It's Bethesda. We should be hyped for Doom Entrenal. We should be predicting when it's going to land this holiday season. We should be asking, is Evil Within coming out this holiday season, right? Is it getting the sequel it desperately deserves? Instead of talking about any of that, or talking about, Wolfenstein Young Blood, we're talking about a game that came out almost a year ago, Fallout 76, right? We're talking about a game that was totally last holiday season, and if Bethesda's going to talk about it. And it's crazy because Bethesda, prior to Fallout 76, had this glowing reputation of being like the counterculture to all those other corporations, right? They're the opposite of what EA is, right? You have Pete Hines out there, he's saying fuck, he's cool, he gets it, he talks like one of us, he says it how it is, at least he gives the illusion of that. And yeah, sure, you know what, Bethesda games, they get a little buggy, they get a little glitchy, but they're the common man company, right? They get it. And when they throw their E3 press conferences, you always feel like it's about the community, it's about family. So how did we turn on Bethesda? And to be honest, I can't just throw you a clip of the Fallout 76 coverage that I didn't do, because I didn't make any Fallout 76 coverage, because I felt like YouTube at that time, it was just every other day there was something wrong with this game. This game has released in such a state that has spoiled the reputation of Bethesda. It's like beating a dead horse. You didn't want to talk about it because it was literally the same thing over and over again. So with that, in the spirit of good fun, because it's E3, because we're talking about should they talk about Fallout 76, I'm going to give you the Spark Notes version of what happened with Fallout 76. So last year, Bethesda announces Fallout 76 to the world. And it sounded too good to be true, because I know from my point of view, I've always wanted like a multiplayer Fallout, or a multiplayer that's not ESO Elder Scrolls experience, like a co-op experience. Spoiler alert, it was too good to be true. Then Todd Howard comes on stage. He makes a few jokes about how their games are buggy and they're glitchy and they're a little bit,
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs.
So they say that they're going to have this break it early before you play it type of deal, a beta to test out the game before it launches in November. The beta comes out in November, just a few weeks before the launch. There are people defending it, saying, hey, this is a past build. Everything's going to be okay when the game comes out. Spoiler alert, that game is definitely not okay when it comes out. It is definitely broken. It is definitely early access, to say the least. From small bugs to like T-poses to game-breaking bugs, like if you drop a nuke too many times on a server, the server just explodes. There were so many game-breaking things in that game at launch that, man, again, it seemed like every other day there was a new controversy about this game. Even playing it for the brief time I did, I couldn't, because it was just that boring. There was no one in it. It was just NPCs and people that would grief each other's players. They would just, high-level players would come on in, they would just shoot you dead, and then they would just keep on camping your body. I was there, I didn't enjoy it. It was so bad that even a week after it released, it was on fire sale for $40. And again, from all the game-breaking bugs down to just the little things like a canvas bag not being in your limited edition almost led to a class action lawsuit. It was like, guys, Bethesda was the cool uncle. They were the counterculture. They were the uncle that understood you. He was cool. He bought you things at Toys R Us when you were younger. He sold you weed when you were a teenager. He's not like your posh uncle, EA, who's wearing the sweater vest, who's driving in his Tesla, talking about how he's making a difference while he's screwing everybody over. No. He's not EA. He's supposed to be cool. But then you have Todd Howard just days ago, months after this whole thing happened, just days after, we have Todd Howard saying this.
This isn't a game, even from the beginning, this is not going to be like, high Metacritic game. That's not what this is, given what it is. But we felt strongly this is a game we want to play. This is something we really want to do. And all of the games like this, whether it's us or somebody else, you can go back and look at them. There's a period once you launch. It's not how you launch, it's what it becomes, and.
And in the sake of the benefit of the doubt, link down below to that interview, it's actually really good, and a timestamp so that you hear all the things, so I'm not misleading you. Now with that said, Todd Howard's basically saying, yeah, listen, we knew what game we had. And when you look at other games, which he's probably saying like Destiny, right? The First Division, Anthem is a good example as well. They all kind of release half-baked, don't they? Like, look, even Division 2 didn't have the end game content until like 2 months afterwards. So yeah, sometimes they release a little hollow, sometimes they release a little buggy. We just did what everybody else did, but doesn't make it right. And I'm not sitting here to try to be, the developer in the chair here, because I'm not. I understand from the brief knowledge I understand about development is sometimes you're a developer and you're working on a bad game. And you're here for a paycheck, but you're also trying to put in the best you can do to make sure that you make the game from a 6 to a 7 or a 5 to a 6. Like, you're trying your best because this game represents you. But when Todd Howard says that, there's that disconnect. There's that cavalier attitude that Bethesda cannot walk in E3 having. Bethesda, you can't have the E3 where you make the same joke about Fallout 76 that you did with Skyrim of like where you're putting it to next, Alexa. Like, you can't have that cavalier attitude walking into your E3. The tone needs to change. And it sucks because you have a lot of bad faith that you need to mend. So getting to the point, should Bethesda talk about Fallout 76 at their E3 press conference? I don't think there's any way they can't talk about Fallout 76 at their E3 press conference. I remember a few months back, people talking about should Bethesda even go to E3? And I think, yeah, absolutely, you have to. You have to talk about your games at E3, your portfolio, your lineup. You got to talk about Doom Eternal. You got to talk about Wolfenstein. You got to talk about Evil Within 3. Come on, I know it's coming out. You got to talk about, your Starfield, your Elder Scrolls 6s, whatever you're working on, whatever Arcane's working on. Of course, you got to throw your portfolio so people know. You can't just hide because of one bad egg, but you also have to treat that bad egg seriously. You have to be sincere. And I think one of the first things they need to address is Fallout 76. Get it out of the way and take it seriously. Tell people, hey, listen, we understand Fallout 76 happened, right? It's like a traumatic event. We understand that Fallout 76 did not live up to your hopes and dreams, and frankly, it didn't live up to ours. We understand your concerns with our games. It was cute and it was memeable. We poke fun of it ourselves, but it's not anymore. Bugs and glitches nowadays, if we're this big of a company, they shouldn't be in our games. So when it comes to Fallout 76, here's our roadmap. Here's what we're working on. Here's our big expansion you can look forward to. And here's what the community is saying now about our game. And here's our promise. There's a 2-year roadmap. We are giving you guys content because we believe in this game. And also, there's been talk about our engine. So Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, they're put on the back burner until we can nail out all the kinks with our engines to make sure that our games run as smooth as possible. Yes, that means delays, but that also means the best experience down the road. Pete Hines, you have to get a little PR with us. That's what you have to do. You have to talk and be sincere. And Pete, listen, you're great at it. You can already do it. You spoke really great when it came to crossplay with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One back this summer. Just talk from the heart, and maybe you start winning back that faith. Because to be honest, it hurts, but I know that Bethesda is a company that genuinely does care about its community. I'm not going to let one really bad game and a mobile game get in the way of the experiences that I've had with their games. You can see the love when you see games like Rage 2. It might not be perfect, but damn, you can see that the developers made the game they wanted to. Look at games like Doom and Wolfenstein. Uncompromising, revolutionary, beautiful pieces of art. Like, you look at how many VR titles they do, right? Whether it's Doom or whether it is, another Skyrim game. They believe in this stuff. We're gonna have a Wolfenstein VR experience, Cyberpilot. So yeah, listen, has Bethesda's name, is it completely ruined? Absolutely not. But does it need mending? Absolutely. So should Bethesda talk at E3? Abso-fucking-tootly they should. Yes. And yes, they need to be sincere, no cavalier attitude, speak from the heart, Do what I did. That was all off the cuff. Do you think there's a script in front of me? Spoiler alert, no. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, that's my E3 breakdown for Bethesda at this year's E3 2019. I want to know what your thoughts are down below. Fallout 76, the Bethesda conference, your predictions, your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's have a conversation, because here at Bad Bit Games, that's what it's always about. Here at Bad Bit, we also do news, reviews, rants like these, should you buys, the PlayStation podcast I do each and every Thursday called The Trophy Room, my PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. Again, each and every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, YouTube. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody keep your wits about you and have a nice one.